Today on Fishing with the Dodger, this is the Salmon Show. The Dodger swings us through the Pacific coast of Canada in search of those monster pinks, Coho, and Chinook.
That is a big fish.
Our fly girl of the week shows us a secret salmon recipe, and we discover humans aren't the only ones who savor salmon.
Are you ready? Let's go. Are you ready? Let's go.
Salmon are a much sought-after catch for several reasons. They can grow very big, salmon meat has a distinctive look and flavor, and natural salmon is considered very healthy eating. The Dodger loves the thrill of the fight when fishing for salmon.
Al, this thing is just hammering.
Chinook is the largest species. They can live up to 9 years and can weigh 100 pounds, although more typically a mature Chinook weighs less than 50. Most species of salmon live in coastal regions. Many spend their lives in saltwater but return to cool freshwater streams to spawn. Less than 2% of salmon hatched in streams will return to spawn. However, some female salmon carry between 2,000 to 7,000 eggs. The Dodger and crew search for salmon on the west coast of British Columbia. Certain species of salmon have existed in the area for over 6 million years. The bountiful vegetation, old-growth forests, temperate climate, and abundance of wildlife have made many areas of BC a haven for fish, wildlife, and even humans.
Our first stop is Painter's Lodge in Campbell River. It's considered by some to be the salmon capital of the world. The area has a tradition of sport fishing going back nearly a century.
The lodge was built in 1929 and soon became an international hotspot. Celebrity guests included Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, and John Wayne. Although a fire destroyed the original building, Oak Bay Marine Group has rebuilt the location into a prime fishing resort, complete with pool and hot tub facilities, ornamental gardens, several restaurants, and a water taxi to the April Point Resort and Spa.
This is my buddy Al. I'm the Dodger. We're here for our liposuction treatment. Actually, I'm kidding. We're here for our spa treatment. It's been a tough day on the water.
Oh, well, I see you're all ready and you've got your robes on. That's great.
Excellent. You do look rather dashing up. Oh, it's I know.
In spite of the beautiful facilities, it's fair game that the weather can be rainy. That's one of the reasons this is such a lush and bountiful region. It's a great opportunity to see the power of the water firsthand.
Over 60% of the water that flows into this inlet goes through this narrow passage. Our Zodiac needs a lot of power to get through that current. In fact, these boats were the second most powerful of their kind in the world. Nothing beats ripping around in a rubber raft with twin 150s hanging off the back. Something our guide is more than happy to demonstrate.
Next on Fishing with the Dodger gets into a big fight with a monster salmon. Find out who the winner is. And Dodger Jr. tells you everything you ever wanted to know about salmon, but were afraid to ask. Coming up. Welcome back to the Salmon Show. The Dodger is on the west coast of British Columbia in a place known as the salmon capital of the world, Campbell River.
Good job, Al. Keep reeling, buddy.
It was a dark and rainy day, perfect weather for catching a big salmon. The fish tend to hide in shady areas deep in the water. They're susceptible to sunburn, just like we are. But a rainy day like this is great for fishing.
We headed out into the waters of Campbell River, and from the very beginning, it looked like Lady Luck was catching my wave.
Right on. Oh, Al, he's fighting.
Oh, he's fighting good. He's fighting
Oh,
good.
look at this. And you know what's neat, Al? Watch, because he's going to run. The rod tip comes up, and then it's a case of reeling like crazy. Like this. Keep the tension on him. And then it becomes a waiting game.
And we did wait
The head shakes, Al, are intense.
and wait.
Yeah, it's a spring, because if this was a coho, he'd be up out of the water dancing right now.
And wait some more.
Well, he took a lot of line on me. He hit, and then he went straight down, charged the boat, and then took off. Nothing beats
So is this the whale?
Yeah, this is the whale. This is Moby.
Finally, a fin emerges from the water.
Yeah, typically, all these guys, when they come in, it's usually 3 good runs before they'll go, because they're just so big and strong. Look, it's a green fish.
And after 20 minutes of fighting, our salmon is coming home.
Nice fish. Hey, Randy, tell me what you want, bud. Good fish, buddy.
Let go, Mike.
I need a set of arms here, man. I need a set of arms. Because you notice the way I'm holding them, right? You turn them, got pressure on just behind that fin, and then you give them the old tail down, right? It puts them right to sleep. Oh, let's let them go and swim for a different day. You ready?
Soon, the Dodger gets another tug on the line. Is this the salmon he's been waiting for?
Holy mackerel.
No, that's probably a salmon, Dodger.
Oh, what a great way to finish a day. This is awesome, eh?
This is such a big catch, the press are onto it.
There we go. There's the helicopter, the local news flying in.
Maybe the headline should be Dodger versus spring salmon in cage match. Or is that too sensational?
That's a big spring. Oh man, he's running again. Oh yeah, that's a big spring.
Fish, Mike.
Nice job, buddy.
Oh, good job.
The Dodger is beat, man. Awesome job. Oh, that is a big fish.
I think the Dodger beat that salmon, and that salmon beat the Dodger.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that, Al.
That's what we're talking
Isn't
about.
that a beauty?
That is a beautiful fish.
That is a Chinook in Campbell River, BC.
And after the battle is won and the day's nearly done, the Dodger has only one question.
Where's that spot treatment, Al? Where's my spot treatment?
Oh, it's coming, Dodger, it's coming. But first, let's head on over to the Season 2 premiere of Fishing with the Dodger at the Shanks Athletic Club in Calgary. It was a full house, with the Dodger himself hosting the event live and in person.
Most welcome, most welcome.
While there, we quizzed Dodger fans to find out what they know about salmon. Some were more than willing, even before we asked.
Best way to catch salmon is with mayonnaise. What do you want to know?
Our actual question was, where do salmon come from?
Where do salmon come from? I think they come from BC. We get them from the factory out there, don't we? They come in a can, about this big.
There's Atlantic salmon, Pacific salmon. Basically, they come from fresh water.
Salmon come from the ocean, but they do swim in fresh water sometimes. When they're spawning, they go to fresh water to spawn.
From the fresh waters out to the ocean, I think. I'm not too sure.
Gosh, that woman looks familiar. Very familiar.
This isn't going to look very good. I'm the Dodgers' mom.
It's okay, Mom Dodger. Your son promises to take you out for a fabulous fishing day this summer on Mother's Day. He'll be sure to help you catch a beautiful fish. In the meantime, the Dodger awards a fabulous float trip on the Bow River to a TV show fan.
Okay, for a float trip down the Bow River, the winner is Teddy Breger.
And the winner, for her part, is blown away.
No. Yes. When?
Teddy, from what I understand, you're going to be featured on Fishing with the Dodger with your dad. So it looks like we have both Mother and Father's Day covered. Coming up next, we take a trip to see how modern innovation meets old-fashioned common sense. I guess it's a little from the mom yin and a little from the dad yang. Welcome back to the Salmon Show on Fishing with the Dodger. We've shown you what some of the traditional salmon capitals of the world are, but now we're going to introduce you to the latest in salmon farming technology on the South Island of New Zealand. There are three things salmon need in order to thrive: plenty of food, oxygenated water, and habitat. Pollution has had a devastating effect on the species. However, modern innovations have also inspired creative solutions, such as the Mount Cook Salmon Farm.
This flows between Lake Tekapo and Lake Pukaki, and it's actually the hydro system. There's a powerhouse either end.
The Mount Cook Salmon Farm is situated in hydro canals constructed by the New Zealand government for power generation. The canals, fed directly from mountain lakes, have a very fast flow. The flow reduces any buildup of waste products. The result just happens to be ideal for a salmon population. At 600 meters, the Mount Cook Salmon Farm is the highest in the world. There's no agriculture between the farm and the mountains, and thus no environmental pollution. The fish here include a unique species of sockeye salmon, the only self-sustaining population in the southern hemisphere.
Now these salmon are landlocked salmon, so they never hit sea.
No, they're in fresh water all the time.
The fish swim all day in swift currents and have less fat and more lean meat. They're also free of chemicals, vaccines, and antibiotics.
And the average size salmon coming out of the farm?
When we harvest, they're anything from 3 kilo to 7 kilo.
Wow, that's a good size.
Mount Cook is a privately run farm. Because it was such a novel idea, there was some trial and error when the project started, but now they've become a model within the international commercial fishing industry.
So how many fish will you pull out of here in a year? What's the harvest?
We harvest about 120 tonne. We harvest to Japan, Australia, some goes to the States, and virtually all over New Zealand.
Resident fact checker Connor Gellinus, aka Dodger Jr., is here to give us the straight goods on salmon trivia, such as where do salmon come from?
All salmon return to where they were born to spawn.
And that's exactly right, Dodger Jr. Salmon are on a cycle. Even if they've lived in the ocean for most of their lives, they return to freshwater streams if that's where they were born to spawn. Dodger Jr. has been fishing for 6 years, even though he's only 11. So he knows some pretty useful facts about salmon.
When you pinch a salmon's tail and bend it down, it's the same effect as holding a trout upside down. So they instantly can't move, can't wiggle out of your hands or anything.
As you notice the way I'm holding them, right? You turn them, got pressure on just behind that fin.
Yeah.
And then you give them the old tail down, right? It puts them right to sleep.
Dodger Jr. knows a thing or two about salmon. He's caught a monster practically a quarter of his size.
The biggest salmon I've ever caught is around 23, 25 pounds.
Okay, Dodger Jr., so why are salmon pink on the inside?
They're mainly colored on the inside because of what they eat. Just like flamingos, they eat shrimp, so they're bright pink. So depending on what a fish eats, it'll be a different color. Like it might be possibly green.
Blech, green fish. But it's Dodger Jr. who can't be caught. He knows all about salmon, maybe more than his dad.
When we were on the west coast of the Queen Charlottes, I was out fishing my dad 4 to nothing, and I have pictures to prove that.
Good work.
Today on our Fly Girl segment, we're focusing on what to do with a great salmon catch, how to prepare an easy, tasty recipe for salmon. Meet Elizabeth and Joanne, our Fly Girls. They run the Calgary-based company, Saucy Cucina.
And we focus on helping people reconnect at the dinner table. In doing so, we have recipes that allow people to assemble their meals on site, and we make healthy, nutritious meals.
Salmon is considered a very heart-smart meal.
Salmon, of course, contains omega-3s, and for anyone who's had any incident of heart attack or stroke, omega-3 becomes a major component to their diet.
You can use a chef's knife or a boning knife. This is a boning knife. A flexible boning knife is very nice to have, but often people don't have those. So as long as you have a sharp chef's knife, you can pretty much do anything with it.
Elizabeth fillets the salmon using the Dodger's handy tip of always cutting from the head to the tail.
And the trick is to not waste any of the meat. So if you go right along the backbone there, you should come away with a fillet, like that.
Elizabeth carefully picks out the remaining pin bones, even though accidentally eating one won't hurt you, and actually is a source of calcium. But hey, no one likes bony fish. Now, Sal the salmon is ready for the Fly Girl marinade. Be sure to put the fish in meat side down.
You'll notice it's simple brown sugar, some lemon juice, butter, some red chili peppers, honey, and some hickory smoke. And all of these ingredients can be purchased at a local grocery store, so it's not a difficult process.
After about 10 minutes in marinade, pop that salmon into a medium-high heat barbecue, skin side down.
And then we'll put the lid on it, and that'll cook the whole salmon. So, because trying to flip a salmon on a barbecue is very difficult.
With a fish this size, wait about 8 to 10 minutes, and voila!
Oh, this is incredible. It's just like butter.
And it's Dodger approved.
Oh, that is really good.
Coming up, the Dodger gets up close and personal with Canadian wildlife. And we check out some fly bunnies just in time for Easter. Welcome back to Fishing with the Dodger. Today, we've relaxed at some salmon spa resorts and enjoyed fabulous salmon fishing. But now, we're going to share with the other wildlife that loves salmon. They make salmon part of their life cycle.
Are you ready? Let's go.
One of the benefits of fishing for wild salmon is you get to visit fabulous natural habitats because salmon makes a tasty dish for animals, too. You knew the Dodger had to be a Star Wars fan, right? Anywho, he and Dodger Jr. head out to the waters of Campbell River, BC to enjoy a day of communing with the animals.
The eagles are feeding up at a place called Jimmy Judd Island, which is a remarkable thing to watch. It only really happens for about 3 weeks of the whole year.
It's like an eagle party with salmons as guest of honor.
We have a pod of killer whales coming through as well, so I'd like to go spend some time with them.
Killer whales, or orcas, are huge fans of salmon, literally. In fact, orcas consume more salmon in BC than any other animal, including humans.
Now they find us very intriguing. If you notice, they kind of came right at us. They'll roll over sometimes, have a look at you.
Maybe they're fans of the Dodger. After all, they love fishing. Let's see how close they get.
The guides have radios that allow them to listen into what the whales are saying. Listen closely. I think it's, "Hi Dodger, feel free to share your salmon."
Grizzlies have suffered from environmental impact just like salmon. In fact, the less salmon, the less grizzly bears. But hopefully through conservation actions, both salmon and grizzly bears will be coming back, even though the bears are a little camera shy. Hey, that's a good thing for the Dodger camera crew. Before we leave Campbell River, we can't forget some of the friendliest river dwellers, harbor seals.
So what we're doing here is we're standing down on the dock at the end of Painter's Lodge here, feeding some seals. It's pretty incredible. If you look really close, you can see the seals come up out of the water. They'll take the food right out of the hands of the guys. Here he comes. He's just coming up. There he goes right there. Okay, so the fly is quite unique. You tie it with a, probably I would say about a 4X hook. So it's a long hook, eyes on the bottom of the fly so that it drops. What's really neat about this fly is the fact that it's weighted, is that when the fly is going through the water, it'll dance. And as you can see, the tail of the fly will actually move and pulse in the water. A salmon will come in and the salmon will typically stun a fish and then turn around and cycle and hit it again. So what happens is the salmon will come in and then they attack from behind. And 9 times out of 10, we're catching them on that trailing hook.
The fly we've shown you is really easy to tie. It's a fluffy big fly that puffs in the water, and salmon and pike go crazy for this fly. The recipe's very simple and straightforward. Start off with 2 4X extended shank hooks, green or black 6/0 thread, some marabou for the body, remembering to put the lighter marabou on the bottom. Our favorites are either green and chartreuse or red and white. Tie on the marabou, finish it off with some crystal flash on top, some good heavy dumbbell eyes, and get ready for some incredible fishing.
Coming up next week on Fishing with the Dodger, it's the Pike Show. We take you to the best places to fish for pike in Alberta. Dodger Jr. ties his favorite fly, and we test out the perfect pike recipe.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Fishing with the Dodger.